Hi, it's Liz Sneddon. Let's have a look at different kinds of investigations that we're going to do at level 1. So when we do an investigation, we use our PPDAC cycle. And so we start with often the problem, build a plan, collect some data, analyse that data and form a conclusion. Now you'll notice both the problem and the conclusion I've got coloured in blue there. And that's just to kind of try and remind us that our problem is usually about a population and our conclusion is also about a population, whereas the plan, the data and the analysis are about the sample data that we collect. So that's an important thing when we're talking about it and writing a report. So there are 4 different kinds of investigations that we are going to be able to do. So we've got our comparison investigations. So that's when we're comparing 2 groups. So I need one numeric variable and one categorical variable. So I might be looking at what's the difference in heights between adults and children. So my 2 groups, adults and children, that's a categorical variable, and my heights is my numeric variable. A relationship investigation, that's looking at 2 numeric variables. So that's a scatter graph that we need to be able to do. So we need 2 numeric variables for that, and we're looking to see, is there a relationship between them? As people get older, do they get taller? So we're looking for a pattern. Then our third one is a time series graph. So we're looking for those patterns over time and seeing what kind of patterns might we notice in any kind of data. So I need a time variable and I need a 1 numeric variable to do that. And the last one is our experimental probability and simulations. So that's when we're looking at a situation where we don't know the probability of an event. For example, what's the probability that your computer crashes today? It's something that we don't know the theoretical probability for, but we can collect some data and record how many times it crashes and work that out as an experimental probability and say, estimate, we think the probability is about this. And simulations, when we build some models to look into probabilities further. So for our assessments, we're going to need to do at least one of those investigations. Now, when we talk about our data, we always need to think about the language that we use. So we need to think about suggestive language, not definitive language. So we can only say it's likely that, it appears that, the data shows that. So words that talk about that kind of suggestive language, because we don't usually have population data, so we never know 100% for certain. That's why we look into the different sources of variation and so on, because there's always going to be variation when we collect data. So be very careful not to use definitive words like prove. This proves that. We can't talk about that because we only have sample data. And so there's a little reminder, the results of this can only ever be suggestive or inferential. Thanks for watching.